to do, to put kids' pictures of each one of the bottoms without touching. No, actually, this is about graduating seniors in downtown and Main Street. They want their pictures.
Where are you going from the plan of everybody to work?
Well, I knew that. Thank you, Larry.
Thanks for coming last night. Right. Oh my God.
Sarah here, she's home.
So you did a nice job.
Hey.
Yeah. I mean, you got
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I got that. That one's my slate. Yes.
We're gonna be out there on the fest. We haven't heard yet.
In the morning. Yeah. That's a terrible day.
So, yeah.
Oh, you're saying
Yeah.
you get extra weeks and I need to bring it together. They're quarantined, you know.
No, but, thanks. It's better if I'm standing there. No, I actually was ready to jump. I don't know where. Oh, everybody does.
Can we get down there?
No, I don't.
That's really flattered. Hi. Hi.
Yeah.
I don't imagine they picked this
Give it
one.
up. Give it up. You'll be about to make it.
Great.
It is. Right. It is. Right.
I thought it was flattering that, you know,
Right.
they didn't follow me, like the first year I was there, they were just kind of like, oh, another administrator, and now at the end, it's super like this. Oh, yeah, I was thinking a little more.
No, I just.
So far away.
Well, I don't know about theirs. But they want to know. That was
Well,
just
the
before I
appointments
came
on Zoom or?
Because we were here for years. Same house.
Sounds great, yeah.
And then we were talking about the arts. So when we came back, they were in already. So that is. That's right.
I hate it when it says verified.
Calling the meeting to order at 6:03 PM. If you could please join me in rising to the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we get to it, I just want to acknowledge Larry Gordon and the incredible service that he has given to this town. And we'd like to dedicate this meeting to Larry Gordon. And I'd ask that you join me in a moment of silence in his memory. Thank you. Yes,
There's a service for him Saturday.
yes, I believe the service for him is this Saturday at the First Congregational Church. I'm not sure what time. 11. All right, moving on to a payroll warrants for April 22nd, 2022 and April 29th, 2022, open for motion.
So moved.
Any questions or discussion? Calling for a vote, all those in favor? Motion passes 4-0. Unfortunately, Pam is under the weather, so she will not be joining us. 2B, accounts payable warrants for April 26th, 2022 and May 3rd, 2022. Open for motion.
So moved.
Second.
And moved and seconded. Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion passes 5-0. 4-0.
Who's counting?
Moving down to approval of the minutes for April 19th, 2022. Open for motion.
I move to approve the minutes of April 19th, 2022.
Second.
Any questions, edits, discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? 4-0. Yeah, I got that. Motion passes, thank you. Special presentations or awards. Terry, would you like to recognize someone?
I would like to say that we want to recognize someone 2 weeks from now. And it's one of our illustrious students, Evan Strong, at the high school, has won an award, and we want to do it right, and I want to be able to have him here, you know, with thousands in attendance. So we're gonna pitch this forward 2 weeks. Y'all come.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
I don't really have a special award, but I would like to point out, this is Town Clerk's Week. So you can show your appreciation to our town clerk who works very hard. Really appreciate it.
I appreciate the word on that. Goodness. Okay.
Moving down to committee appointments, planning board, Anthony Gaddy Jr. for a reappointment, open for a motion.
I move to appoint Anthony Gaddy Jr. to the planning board. Isn't this a reappointment?
Yes.
Okay. I move to reappoint.
Second.
Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion passes 4-0. We do not have any public hearings this evening. Any public comment on non-agenda items? Seeing any in person? Last call for online. All right. Moving on. Number 8, Department Under Committee Chair, sewer rates, Rob Lally.
Good evening. I am Rob Lally, the superintendent of the sewer department. And I have been here for 2 years. I was hired in March of 2020 to become the superintendent of the department. Since I have been here, there has been sort of an odd financial anomaly. And that is that the sewer department revenues, since I've been here, have never matched the sewer department budget. In fact, for a couple of years before that, that was also the case. So with Dennis's permission, I had undertaken an examination of the sewer department finances. And that included an exam of the department's recent audits, their expense and revenue reports, and an examination of the budgets that we've had. And I would like to read a letter from Kathy Robinson of the Maine Rural Water Association, who undertook the analysis of our sewer department budget. And she says in a letter, and I can give anybody who wants a copy of the letter.
When I was back, so.
Okay. I have done an initial analysis of the wastewater department and its financials, and have attached my findings for your review. I believe that it is important for the town to address the need for a full rate increase so that the wastewater department can begin to operate within its financial means. I will just read a few of the bullet points that are in her report. She notes that depreciation and contingency accounts, which are listed in the budget, are currently not being collected for or funded properly. Capital improvement reserves are currently being budgeted, but have not been sustainable or recovered through the revenues of the sewer department. Now, the sewer department is an enterprise account, and for those of you who don't know, that means an account that pays for its operating expenses out of the sewer bills. So the 2 years that I've been here and I've been involved in budgeting, we've had shortfalls of revenue versus what was budgeted. Now, Dennis has told me the reason that I'm really not operating in the red is because we do not have currently a fourth employee over in the sewer plant. And we are really under a consent order to hire a fourth employee over at the sewer plant. So just as an example, I'm just going to throw a couple of numbers out. My fiscal year budget for 2019 to 2020 was $750,000 for the operating expenses. The revenues brought in were $538,000. So that was a shortfall of $211,000. The 2020 to 2021 budget was budgeting $733,000. And the revenues that came in were $573,000. So that was a shortfall of $160,000. For this coming year, the one that we're actually in right now, we budgeted $785,000, and projected revenue will be $604,000. So that would be a shortfall of $181,000. So in each of those years, if our revenues were to have a price increase, a cost increase of our sewer revenues to match the budget, the 2019 and 2020 would have been 39% increase. The 2020 and 2021 revenues would need to have an increase of 28%. And this year that we're in right now would need a 30% increase. Now, looking at the budget that has just been approved, I guess go on to the warrant. That budget, and as you know, everything under the sun is going up in price and cost. We've anticipated the budget, which is going to go to the warrant, as $846,000. And if I'm only bringing in $604,000, there's so much that needs to be done as far as regular maintenance, as far as maintaining the systems, and as far as hiring another employee that would really go a long way to helping us do our work over there. Related, but not totally the full subject. My expense report for the year so far, with 75% of the year gone, I've spent 58.2% of my budget. And that's a good thing because obviously revenues are not matching what is budgeted. But with a $100,000 or $200,000 difference there's so much maintenance work and necessary upgrades that we could do with that extra $100,000, $200,000. Culver Engineering is doing their own separate study of our collection system, the infrastructure for the pump stations around town, of which we have 18. And they're also doing an analysis of the sewer plant equipment and all of that. Two of those parts of this studies have come down already. But just so that you can get the idea, the sewer system, collection system, and excess flow study points out that there will be $2.6 million of high priority upgrades that need to occur. That's valuable infrastructure. The other study, which has already come across, that is the wastewater pumping stations. And you know, we have 18 of them. Well, that is $7.4 million in high priority upgrades. And one of those upgrades is to the pump station number 4, which is on Gardner Road. That's the pump station that has to handle the new assisted living facility. That has to be upgraded. I'm sorry to say. But anyway, with my purpose here tonight, I would like to ask for the increase, at very least, that Kathy Robinson has recommended. And I'll read you her statement here. She says the department needs to increase rates to include the maximum amount of expenses necessary to operate and maintain and cover debt service costs, capital reserves, and contingency for the department, and expenses through an increase of approximately 46% over current rates. Now, I know that's a huge bite, but if I had my druthers, I would ask myself for a 50% increase, possibly 55. With the budget that Jess has approved and pushed through, I just recently got a price increase notice from the chemical company that supplies us with all of our bulk chemicals, Cross Chemical. And it's an 8% increase and an additional $150 delivery charge.
Oh, man.
So, I mean, it's a kick in the pants, particularly because we now have to chlorinate and disinfect our sewer effluent year round. In previous years, we only did it seasonally, which would be roughly between April and October. Now they've tightened the restrictions and limits on our permit, and now we're doing it year round. So I'm running extra tests for the rest of the year and buying extra chemicals for the rest of the year. And it's not like I can stop disinfecting, and it's not like I can stop adjusting the pH or dechlorinating the water. You have to chlorinate it to kill the bacteria, but then you have to dechlorinate it before it leaves the plant. So it's kind of a hand-in-hand thing. But I wanted to put this out into the public area in front of the select board, the town manager, and the residents. And I believe this will be examined for the public's perusal in a meeting later, actually it'll be in the beginning of June. But I wanted to get it out there. I wanted us to have some time to think about it. Because sewer infrastructure is vital to this town, and you can't have it decaying the way that it is. I mean, if Over is saying, hey, we need millions in repairs, I would like the budget to at least match the revenues coming in. So I thank you for your time, and thank you.
That's your question?
Yes.
So if you've got 2.6 million for upgrade of the collection system and the sewage treatment plant, which is roughly what was discussed a couple of years ago during a tour of the plant, a little bit higher. But you're saying an additional $7 million for the pump stations?
Yes, and they haven't even examined the plant yet. Well, actually, they have examined it, but they haven't published a report. This is just for the collection system, which is the pipes that are down in the manholes, and the pumping stations, of which we have 18. One of the things that I do know is that for a small town, we have a ton of pump stations. Well, like Portland and some of these other big towns, they only have like 3 or 5 or 10. We have 18.
Why is that?
Because there's a lot of hills and stuff. It's gotta go downhill.
Oh, man.
And all that. So flatter towns have much more of an advantage. But that's why that is. And you know something? They, over time.
Because it runs
every-
downhill.
Yes, but every can has been kicked down the road. And when these reports that I have, I'm receiving them, there is so much decay. I want to head stuff off before it needs to be catastrophically failing. And, you know, we have to suddenly decide we're going to spend $1 gazillion instantly.
To the pump stations only transfer sewage?
Yes,
That's it, no other water goes through?
Yeah. no stormwater, no. Yes. Oh, okay. It's up to you.
It was quick, because we're gonna have a full public hearing on all this, so.
A couple of years ago, we were hearing that you were operating, the system was operating under a penalty from the state for not meeting.
Yes, it was under a consent order because of violations that they had and certain things that they were doing in process. We're not running the plant properly, not having proper laboratory procedures, all those kinds of things. Well, a whole bunch of that stuff's been straightened out, but we still need the other employee badly. So, anyway. And
Thank you, Rob. And we'll be setting that public hearing date a little later in our agenda.
For the end of June.
We'll see when we get there.
I'll just smile. I'm just gonna smile.
Thanks, Rob. All right, 9A, unfinished business, main art gallery lease. The one we're considering right now is the same version that is the latest one from the last time we met, with the small exception of Dennis added the requirement that they would need to provide financials on a yearly basis, which I believe we all agreed was a good idea and practice, given that we do that for all of our community organizations. Any other
Can we
questions?
vote now?
Yes.
God,
Open for a motion.
can I say so move? I don't have it right in front of me. I move, don't move. Wait.
She didn't vote on it. She didn't vote
It
on it.
doesn't say.
So I would move to authorize the town manager to execute the 20-year lease with the main art gallery as presented.
I move to authorize the town manager to execute contract for the main part. No, this is not the right one. I'm so sorry. I move
You got it?
to authorize the town manager to execute a 20-year contract as outlined with the main art gallery. How's that? Can I get a second?
Does it need to say lease? She said contract. Does it matter?
We clarify that it is a lease.
It's second.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion passes 4-0. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Sorry.
What a moment.
Yes, sir.
Richard Reese, resident of Wisconsin, member of the gallery board. I just want to say thank you for the work that you've all put in. I think on both sides, we've taken a lot of consideration of the issues that have been raised, and I think we've resulted in great leads that will marry the heritage of the gallery to its future. And we look forward to seeing you at this weekend's gallery open. Thank you.
I want to thank Richard especially, but also Wendy and Tom for their heroic efforts in getting this contract lease to us in its many different forms, with grace and patience and, you know, the things that, you know, make this community worth living in. I just wanted to express my appreciation for that and hope that everyone is going to be there Saturday at
4 to 7.
4 to 7.
Big band.
Big band,
Fun.
and we might even close the street depending on what the select board does.
Thank you. All right, going down to 9B, Maine Department of Environmental Waterfront Pump Out Grant.
This
For motion.
This is when you wanted to do it. I move to authorize town manager to execute contract for the Maine Department of Environment Waterfront Pump Out Grant.
Second.
Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion passes 4-0. Thank you. New business, 10A, cemetery regulations update. And I apologize, there are some attachments that I have not gotten to you, which I will. Becky, I don't know if you want to speak to this at all, but I will say that the cemetery committee has worked very hard to update this policy. There are a lot of things that were very old and not super accurate. And also I think it makes it a bit more clear for those who are purchasing plots for the first time. So we hope to get this out widely to both new owners of plots and also existing owners, and hope that this will also help out with some of the violations in terms of plantings and things like that that have disrupted some of the maintenance in the cemeteries. So happy to take any questions, and Becky's here as well. But I just want to thank them for all their work.
Is Becky back? She online?
No, she's right there.
Oh, I didn't see you come in, I'm sorry. You're sitting directly behind this gentleman, and he's like. Because I don't know who iPhone is.
No, I don't. Are there any questions, concerns, Dusty?
I just saw one thing under decorations.
Yep.
On item E. It says item E is for prohibitions against various things. It's got horses, snowmobiles, and ATVs listed there. And then we've got the same prohibition under paragraph 11. So I don't know why that's in there twice. I just thought I'd point it out for you. In case that was,
I can answer that for you. We just wanted to reiterate, because things like that have been a problem. So it was purposely put in there more than once.
okay.
There are some issues that don't seem to want to go away.
I would not about that.
Thank you. Any other questions or discussion? Do we need a motion? Okay. Open for a motion to accept the new cemetery regulations.
You want to make that one up?
I moved to accept the cemetery regulations.
Okay.
Second.
Did you,
I just have one question. Where you don't have A and B to look at, will those have to be brought up next meeting?
yeah, I'll put them on the next agenda.
Thank you very much.
Any further questions or discussion? All those in favor? Motion passes 4-0. Thank you. Thank you, Becky. All right, speaking of cemetery, 10B Ancient Cemetery Fence bid opening. We actually have bids this time.
No, we have two.
Nothing.
The first one is from C.A. Newcomb and Sons Fence and Guardrail Company from Carmel, Maine. The total to furnish a Ameristar Montage 2 Majestic Ornamental Fence. $83,114. Second one is from Mainline Fence from Cumberland. They have given us two options. Option one is a Ameristar Montage 2 industrial grade steel fence for $82,300. Option two is an Ameristar Echelon 2 industrial grade aluminum fence for $53,500.
Remind me what we.
We had 50,000. I don't remember. I think the 53 fits. It wasn't 80, no. I can't remember what's left. Ted, do you remember what's left in there?
46.
How much?
Contractor services.
There's 46,
42.
because I know we spent money on fencing, so.
That's from when we raised the money to replace it with a wooden fence, and then we didn't do that. We've just been,
But then we
that was like
raised
2
more.
years ago, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But then we raised more.
But then there was more put in there. The cemetery budget's, well under budget at the moment, so, I mean, even if with a 53, there's only 46 left in the contract, there's still enough in the overall budget to handle something like that, so.
Open for a motion.
I move to authorize the town manager and public works director to review the bids and award the bid to the lowest qualified bidder.
Second.
Any further questions or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion passes 4-0. All right, 10C, set town meeting public hearing date for the sewer rates.
Nope.
No,
This is for the annual town meeting.
oh, never mind.
This is not for the school committee.
Nope, that's later in the,
Oh, gosh, how many do we have?
I thought we had, okay, all right.
And that's for May 17th? No, you're
Yes.
talking about,
Yeah,
it would be for the next select board meeting.
correct. Open for motion.
I move that we set the next meeting public hearing for May 17th,
6 p.m.
6 p.m.
At the community center
at the community center.
for the annual town meeting warrant.
And that too. For the annual town meeting warrant. Gosh.
Seconds.
Any questions or discussion? All those in favor? Motion passes 4-0. We hope to see a large turnout. 10D, bill of sale, Hannah V. Malloy, mobile home located at 285 Birch Point Road, lot number 12. Open for motion.
I move to authorize bill sale to Hannah V. Malloy for a mobile home to be, mobile home located at 285 Birch Point Road, lot 12.
Second.
Any questions or discussion? All those in favor? Motion passes 4-0. 10E, main art gallery request for street closure. Open for motion.
I move that we close, actually, how do we do this? I move that we authorize the appropriate personnel to close Warrants Street this coming Saturday night from 4 to 7 for the purpose of the celebration of opening the main art gallery. I apologize for making it so long.
They did request from 3 to 8, so they have time to set up and take that.
And 3 to 8?
Yes, that was in my management report.
Well, yes, it was, and I remember reading that, but it didn't come out of my mouth.
So 3 days.
3 to 8. And it did.
I still second that.
All right. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor? Motion passes 4-0.
This is so nice.
10F, removal of dilapidated mobile home, in parentheses tax acquired, Cronk Lane, open for motion.
So I can do, oh, you want to do it? I'll do it. I move to authorize the Public Works Department to remove the dilapidated mobile home from Cronk Lane.
Second.
Any questions or discussion? All those in favor? Motion passes 4-0. 10G, approve and sign the warrant for the May 16th special town meeting to go to the school budget cost centers for the 2022-2023 school budget referendum.
We have
I
to
assume
move
we need a
it,
motion
we have to
for
move
this.
it, you have to sign it.
That makes a great motion, just leave it.
Okay, so
Right.
moved.
Second.
Any questions or discussion? All those in favor? Motion passes 4-0. Number 11, town managers report. Anything you want to add, Dennis, or any questions for Dennis?
Yep, I will add, since this came out, Envirovantage has now demobilized from the Ash Pond site. They have everything cleared up, cleaned out. The only thing we're waiting on now is just the soil test results from underneath the liners from the last two ponds. Once those come back negative, they'll be back to backfill and it'll be done.
Wow.
And we did obtain our Army Corps of Engineer permit for the Old Ferry Road stream crossing. So that was kind of running in tandem with everything else, but that has come in recently as well. So continue to move forward on that. I have further discussions with two of our senators on trying to push some congressional money to help pay for this. So keep moving forward.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Huge, sorry. Goodness. Huge.
Number 12, assessor's business.
Is there anything we need to do on that other than sign?
Do we need any kind of motion?
No.
No?
This is just a declaration form for this year. So I put in my annual town report this year. The town needs to do a reevaluation. We've not had a full reevaluation in town since 2007. And some of our property values are off kilter. We really need to consider having this done next year. We cannot certify it 100% this year because it's been a while. So I just wanted it out there because everybody gets a little upset when we talk about reevaluation, especially now with home prices being so incredibly high. They don't show a whole lot of, it doesn't appear to me like they're going to be going down anytime soon. And I don't think we can put this off for a whole lot longer. So just because we do a reevaluation doesn't mean everybody's taxes go up. It just kind of re-equalizes everything as to where it should be and gets us back to market rates. So something we need to think of pretty seriously.
13, other board business. Yes.
Given Rob's testimony today on the condition of the sewer plant, we've had this issue in town before. I remember when John was town manager, there was the discussion on raising rates then. Rates haven't been raised in some 7 years. When they had a rate increase, and we need to get better at making sure that we do this every year. This is not something we need to kick a can that we should be kicking down the road. I know, Rob, it sounds dire. We need to spend $7 million on this and $2 million on that. There's certainly other funds that can be had that will help to pay for those kind of things. So, I don't want everybody getting all upset that in the next 5 years, we're gonna have to cough up $10 million for that sewer treatment plant. Because I think there's other ways we can do that. But I would ask that you guys consider setting a public hearing sometime in June, either the first meeting or the second, or if you want to wait until after the election in July, but set a date and let's keep moving ahead with that and not kicking it down the road.
What's the pleasure of the board?
Yeah, nothing. A lot of cans have been kicked down the road in the last 20 years in this town, from what I can read. We're not gonna do that anymore, so let's have a hearing. Let's talk about it. Let's see what needs to be done. Late June, how many hearings can we have in that?
My calendar.
Would it be part of the regular meeting?
Yes, we can do it.
You could do it on like the 21st.
We part of regular stuff this meeting.
Yeah, the 21st
The
would be the
second
second
meeting.
meeting.
So the second meeting would be.
We could do it at the first meeting. I don't mind. I'll do the job.
What do you think? 7th or the 21st? Any preference? All right, I'm gonna say 7th, just because I feel like pushing it further
I
means
agree.
more folks are
There you go.
on summer vacation and whatever.
In the hearing, can we have different options to consider? I don't know if that's appropriate, you like, but instead of, like a 50% jump in 1 year, like what does it look like if you do that over 3 years or 5 years? And then would that keep up with the needs?
And have that discussion. Kathy is going to be here, either here or on Zoom to help answer those kind of questions more appropriately than I can.
So I guess be thinking about the questions that you would have and any of those that would require a bit more research before the meeting. Would be good to have.
I certainly don't expect you to make a rate decision that day. I think there's going to be, I'm already hearing a lot of dissatisfaction with the proposed rate that's out there. So I think this is something that's going to take a few meetings to work our way through. And I agree that the sooner you schedule the hearing, the better off it's going to be.
And then also, I don't know if this is appropriate or anything we've ever done before, but does it make sense to talk to or work in tandem with the water district? I know that, was it like 4 years ago, there was a 35% water increase, which impacted all of the people who are on sewer, and
Last
so,
year.
wasn't that 4 years ago?
Last
There
year.
was one last year.
Yeah,
Was it that high?
Oh,
So there was also one in 4 years, whatever, and so I think it would be, for the people who live in town and use that service, it might be good to see what's happening on their side as well, so when we make the decision, we can have an eye on what those ratepayers are paying. Not that we have any control over the water. But it is connected.
It's the same bill.
Yeah.
All right, we need a motion then.
So,
June 7th.
and the whole public hearing on what sewer rates on June 7th.
Any questions or discussion? All those in favor? Motion passes 4-0. Any other board business? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? All those in favor? We are adjourned at 6:42. Thank you, everyone.
Please do not run away. I've got a bunch of papers for you.
So ready to go.